I'm Rose Stanley with WorldatWork, and I'm the Work-Life Practice Leader. Welcome to WorkSpan TV. I'm joined here today by Kacher, Consultant for Career Life Alliance Services. Kathy is a longtime WorldatWork faculty member and has over 24 years of experience within the work-life field. Welcome, Kathy.
Hi, Rose. It's great to be here.
Kathy, the 2011 WorldatWork Flexibility Survey found that employers who rate themselves as having an established culture provide more training for their employees and their managers. They have more formal programs for their flexibility, and they also market their flexibility programs in their ads when they're attracting in their talent. Can you tell me, why do you think that some of these types of things help to contribute to a more flexible culture?
When an organization leverages flexibility across all levels, they have the greatest impact. And when I read this study, I was so pleased because, especially that training component, many organizations believe that I will put a policy together and I'll put it on our intranet. I will, design perhaps an application process. Maybe I'll have some conversations with some leaders in the organizations. Maybe we'll send a memo to the managers. But at the end of the day, they are not taking that holistic approach that your study really identified as creating success. And that success is because of the consistency, the consistent messaging, and people are hearing that message not just from the outside when they're on-ramping, but they're hearing it at all levels with good quality training programs and ongoing training programs.
When we talk about the training programs, it's also really important, isn't it, Kathy, to have the senior management buy-in on these types of things. When you combine that with the training programs, this really does help increase the opportunity for that culture to really start changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, without the leadership support, you're ad hoc at best. You're going to find pockets of the organization that are perhaps practicing some secret flexibility, or maybe a few departments, maybe it's in IT or wherever, that are doing flexibility really well, but without that waterfall effect from the top down, you are not going to get that consistent utilization, and therefore you're not going to realize the ROI that the organization has by leveraging flexibility.
Kathy, can you give us some examples of some other things that helps promote that culture of flexibility in an organization?
You go through the process of implementing workplace flexibility, and the component that so many organizations forget, even if they roll it out correctly the first time, is the maintenance. You have to maintain it. And a great way to maintain it is through ongoing communication and recognition and accountability processes. Maybe managers who are overseeing call centers or are charged with reducing the use of their real estate, utilizing flexibility and telecommuting to help reduce those costs and measure and track those costs and reward the manager for accomplishing goals that reduce the amount that's being spent perhaps on real estate. Other opportunities is for leadership to be flexible, work flexibly, walk the talk. Leave work early, go to the gym, talk about perhaps your family life. Maybe there's children or grandchildren. Leave the office and let your priorities be known. And finally is highlighting individuals who are utilizing flexibility well. Maybe there is a reduced work schedule partner in a firm who's just received a promotion. Let it be known that while working flexibly, they have created success for themselves and the organization.
Those people could be looked at as champions. They've actually embraced it. They're utilizing it, whether they're senior management, whether they are just the employees within other departments. And you had talked about having communication and really communicating it. What other ways can an organization communicate that to their employees? What are some suggestions?
Communicating to employees and to managers as well, the business, the reason, the why around flexibility. That's what people really want to know. Some organizations have implemented flexibility and the employee goes, yeah, but I can't do that because I'll be at risk. Manager says, you know what, not in my department, it won't work because I have to watch these people. I have to make sure they're on task and doing their job. When an organization effectively communicates that this is an employee-driven process, where the employee creates a business case, presents it to their manager, and if they can show I will neutrally or positively impact the organization, the manager has no choice but to say, absolutely, Flexibility is going to work for you. You've outlined it perfectly. And it's that type of consistency and processes that makes flexibility very successful.
Do you have any examples of any organizations that you've dealt with in your client base that have really made the effort to start looking at that culture and driving it down? Or is it something that just casually happens? Does an organization really have to think about the culture in order to really start embracing it and embedding it within their organization?
I've been with organizations that have done it both ways. Early on in our work around flexibility, we were consultants for Best Buy Corporation, and we work with Kelly Ressler, and we developed a very traditional workplace flexibility initiative that we rolled out across the organization. It was well received, it was well trained, people were utilizing a very traditional process, and slowly that process actually migrated into the results-only work environment. So it's interesting when you're starting down the path to flexibility to know where it's going to go and to understand how your culture is going to embrace it. But the important thing is to know your culture and to communicate at all levels of the organization, employees, managers, leaders, onboarding, people leaving, always keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the organization and how they're reacting to your initiatives.
And it isn't necessarily just the programs that you have, but it certainly is the culture that helps bring that along. So you kind of need both pieces in order for it to really work well within an organization.
They have to have the permission. It has to be okay. And to make it okay, you have to communicate it completely and thoroughly.
Thanks, Kathy. For WorkSpan TV, this is Rose Stanley.